Now, Hong Kong's protests have evolved over the past 2 months. Initially sparked by opposition to the government's extradition bill, it has now morphed into a broader movement calling for universal suffrage and greater accountability from the government and police.
Young activists have developed new strategies as they go. Protests are more spread out across the city, as Wei Du was explaining to us earlier, and confrontations with police continue to escalate.
The first major rally that kick-started the wave of protests was on 9th of June. Organizers estimated 1 million people took to the streets.
Clashes broke out days later when lawmakers were set to debate on the extradition bill at the Legislative Council. Protesters blocked roads in Admiralty and battled with police. Officers later condemned the violence and labelled the protest a riot.
In an unprecedented escalation, the demonstration moved to police headquarters, and that was on the 21st of June. Protesters laid siege to the building for more than 15 hours.
Things took a more destructive turn on July 1st. Protesters stormed into Legco that evening, breaking glass, entrances and damaging the council chamber, while vandalizing offices in the building as well.
And the apparently leaderless protests then started to make unexpected waves. They began staging shape-shifting rallies in various districts, and protests became increasingly violent.
By mid-July, it was clear that protesters were split into two factions: peaceful marchers who rallied during the day and a radical violent group that appears late at night. The government had hoped the violent scenes would turn public opinion against protesters.
But instead, it saw different walks of life coming out to rally against the government. And on the 26th of July, airline staff joined a peaceful sit-in at Hong Kong International Airport. Social workers, the legal and financial sector, as well as civil servants have also staged demonstrations in recent weeks.
Police tried to curb the violence by refusing to grant permits for gatherings, but thousands defied police orders and engaged in violent battles during illegal demonstrations. Police arrested dozens on July 28th and have charged several with rioting, a crime that carries a prison sentence of up to 10 years.
And from the type of protest sites to the ever-expanding profile of the protesters to the nature of the demonstrations themselves, the protest movement has shown it's constantly morphing and adapting. And there have been 9 straight weekends of protests. Very few are betting against a 10th.